is the last video of Part C, Module 4. C.3, Conditional Being Creation. Yeah. So this video is very short. We only have one page of the slide. And in this short video, I want to talk about two topics, two very small topics. Yeah. The main thing we look at this topic, this video, we want to consider some special cases, very special cases. Most of the time we may not use it, but when you get to that kind of situations, then you need to use this kind of special ways. All right, so let's start. The first topic, conditional being creation. So when we create a JSP being, so we learned that, how to create it. But here, there is a special situation. So let's look at the situation first. Setting initial being properties. When we create a being, we need to set some initial properties. But when we do that, think about a special situation of this. This kind of beings are shared by multiple pages. Here, let me describe the situation. Suppose you have a menu, right? Menu. In this menu, you have page 1, page 2, and page 3. So that when a user comes to this page, you do not know which item is selected by the user. The user can select any item, right? So for this situation, if you do not know which page the user wants to select, then some initial properties, you do not know what initial properties to set. Because for page 1, you need to set initial properties for page 1. If page 2, you need to set initial properties of page 2. 3 different initial properties for page 3. But before you know the page selection, how do you set initial properties, right? So for this kind of very special situation, here we're talking about very special situation. Then you need a special way to do it in JSP. Here, the solution in JSP. All right. So under this situation, you do not know which page will be accessed first. So you want to keep it open. Here we mean the first time you visit that, the first time you create that being. Create that being. The second time, because it already has the initial properties, so you don't need to create a new being. So only the first time. So we're talking about that initial state. Use. How do we use it? Here, the example is this. All right. JSP : use being ID. So this part, the tag, the JSP action, the tag we use as before, but now you set a property inside that element, inside that JSP : use being element, inside it. That's the conditional being creation. So that means if this being does not exist, then you set a property of this. But if the being already exists, don't change its current properties. Because the property already set. Don't change it. It already has the existing properties. We just use the existing properties. So that is the the special situation we consider. Now, in that situation, so we have this way, we can solve the problem. Yeah. Otherwise, it could be very complicated. Yeah. So here we want to use a simple way to get a solution. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So here you can see the properties are set only if a new being is created. Yeah, because when you use this tag, this element, if the being exists, if the being with ID, my being already exists, it does not create a new one. It just get the old one, existing object, and use it. Yeah. In that case, you do not change. You do not use the values here to change the property values. Yeah. So that's simple. Yeah. All right, so this is the first topic. Yeah. For very small situation, yeah, the possibility of this case may not be very high, but if it happens, you have this simple solution. Yeah. All right, so now the second topic. For the second topic, another special case. Make polymorphic being references. This, sometimes you may need to do it. Polymorphic being. Here, I hope you know the polymorphism, the concept polymorphism. Yeah. So what's that? Yeah. So you have a superclass, subclass, right? Yeah. So here, let me use the class A, superclass. Okay. So suppose, this is a superclass. All right. Class A has a subclass called class B. Subclass of class A. All right. So now we know an object of class B is also an object of class A. Okay? Yeah? An object of class B, yeah, because it's a subclass of class A, so it is also an object of class A. Yeah. So now you have the situation. Yeah. Now you have the situation. Yeah. You may have object B1, object B2, object B3, yeah, a sequence of object from object B. Okay? Think about another sequence of objects. Object A1, object B, still A, object A2, object A3, right? Yeah, another sequence of object from class A directly. Now, you put them together, okay? So you put all these objects together in a bigger sequence, all right? Bigger sequence. This bigger sequence are all objects of class A. Now, polymorphism. All, so they match the class type of object A, but internally they're slightly different. One from part of the sequence from class A, part of the sequence from class B, two different forms. So we call this case polymorphism. Now, in the JSP, we want to use a sequence of objects with this polymorphism situation. So you can see it's a very special situation. Yeah. So here there is a way to handle that. Yeah. Yeah. The possibility for this situation to occur, not very high. But if it happens, then so there is a special way to do it, to handle it. Here, let's look at that special way. Polymorphic beings. The meaning I already explained. So here, declare a variable to have a type that is a superclass of the actual being type. Actual being type, that's the subclass of the superclass. Okay? But you declare as a superclass. Okay? Superclass. So class A. But its actual class is the class B. So that's the meaning. Okay? So with that background, so you can understand the sentence. Or there is another situation, interface situation. Because interface, that's another special case. We can put a superclass, subclass case together. All right. So the interface that the being implements. So class A, we just treat as an interface. But class B, we treat as it implements interface called class A. So I mean just name. So we put these two cases not quite the same, but we want to handle them the same way. Otherwise, you need to use two different ways to handle. Not very efficient. All right. So now, let's see how to handle this case. Use the type attribute. Type attribute in the JSP:\use_being tag. New attribute. So this time, type attribute, the superclass or interface name, we specify in the type. Then it will be treated. It will be treated, as an object of that type. Okay. So let's see the syntax. JSP:\use_being. ID as before, class as before. You specify the concrete class name path. Then the type is the place you use the superclass class A, or you use the interface name here. You specify as the value of the type attribute. After that, then this being, after it is created, it can be used as an object of superclass or object of that interface. Okay. So that is the way we can do that polymorphism. Polymorphic beings. And how to use polymorphic beings, I think, so if you have the polymorphism background, so you know how to use the polymorphic beings, right? So now you have a sequence of beings. Some belong to superclass, some belong to subclass, but you can use them, for example, in a for loop. Then for each individual being, they will perform as their own original class. Subclass, it will perform as the subclass, when you call it. So that's the meaning of polymorphism. Otherwise, we do not use polymorphism, right? Otherwise, we do not use polymorphism. The Java supports, not just Java, object-oriented programming language support polymorphism. So that feature is available. All right. So at the end, so that type of class can be abstract type. Other than superclass interface, there is another special situation we can put here in the type attribute, abstract class. So I hope you know this concept, abstract class. Some of the methods are not implemented. Some of the methods are implemented, partial. It is not concrete, but it's abstract, because abstract class and interface, they have some similarity. Or you can call interface as a special type of abstract class. Here, so we do not need to go that basic part. So I hope you know the meaning. So now, so for this slide, 2 topics for 2 very special situations. So not happen frequently. So they do not happen frequently. But JSP can handle those 2 special situations. All right, so we complete the class part C of module 4.